call the meeting to order at, well, we have 5:30. It is 5:30, Tuesday, February 20th, 2024. Can I get a roll call?
Mayor Nafolda,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Hasselbrink.
Here.
Councilmember Doby.
Here.
Councilmember Hibbert.
Here.
Councilmember Murphy.
Here.
And at this time, Mr. City Attorney, can you bring us into closed session?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The City Council will now adjourn into closed session to discuss items 3A through E as listed on this evening's agenda.
Convene back in regular session. City Attorney, do you have anything to report?
No, Mayor, no reportable action was taken in closed session. Thank you.
Okay. If everyone can join us, we're going to do Mayor Pro Tem Hasselbrink will be doing the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by Councilmember Doby leading us in the invocation.
If you could please join me as we pay honor to our country. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Today I'm thankful. I'm even thankful for the rain. I'm thankful for the wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and discernment that we will exhibit as a collective to do what is best for our residents, for our businesses, for all of those that are relying on us to make the absolute best choices and decisions that we possibly can. I pray over our first responders, our fire department, our military, and our own personal PD. I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to be a part of something so great in the city of Los Alamitos, in the state of California, and in these United States of America. So just help us this evening as we make these decisions, that there would be no selfish ambition or self at all, but it would all be about what's best for those that put us here to make the best decisions. In Jesus' name, amen.
Okay. We have a couple presentations. First up, we have Executive Director Howard, I'm going to say this wrong, I'm sorry. Is it Kummerman?
You got it first time.
What's that?
You got it perfect.
Okay, thank you very much. And this is regarding the Cypress College Americana Awards.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. It is great to be here today in Los Alamitos. Thank you for having us. Thank you for always continuing to support the Cypress College Foundation and our Americana Awards. Our 49th annual Americana Awards this year are going to be at the Westin Anaheim Resort on March 16th, and we look forward to welcoming you there. We have recognized 53 Citizens of the Year from the City of Los Alamitos over the last 48 years. And this event helps us to raise money for the foundation so that we can award scholarships, emergency assistance, and support other programs at Cypress College for our students. Each year we give away more than $400,000, and I think closer to $500,000 this year in scholarships and assistance. And our students need the help and the support of everybody in the community to help them to become successful. We have, as you can see, over 200 students that are currently attending Cypress College from Los Alamitos, taking classes. Our enrollment is up this year. We have, coming out of the pandemic, still more than 70% of our students now are taking classes in person, and our enrollment is up over 10%. So we are starting to come back, as many of the colleges have over the years, to help and support our students. I'd also like to thank the residents and our city committee for the city of Los Alamitos, for Americana, for their help and support in honoring and choosing our Citizens of the Year, which include Johnny Strohmeyer and Marilyn Poe and many other people that are on our committee. They make a difference in their support of everything that we do. We have a brand new president at Cypress College. His name is Dr. Scott Thayer. He wishes he could be here with us tonight. He is at a conference in Anaheim, actually, for administrators. He wishes to offer his support for the city and for our students in Los Alamitos, and he looks forward to meeting all of you in the future. He's going to be a great president and a new addition to the college. As you know, last year we recognized Nisi Stewart as our Citizen of the Year, and this year Shelley Appling is going to be our citizen, and we'll be able to talk a little bit more about Shelley. Shelley Appling truly embodies the spirit of giving back to Los Alamitos, a trait she shares with her family's legacy of community service. From her early days volunteering for youth sports and school activities to unwavering support for the Los Alamitos Youth Center and Museum Association, Shelley's commitment to this town is unparalleled. Working at Appling Insurance, she, alongside her family, continues to play a pivotal role in the business community. But above all, for Shelley, it's her family and community that holds the highest place in her heart. She's a testament to what it means to be a pillar of support and generosity in the community. And to learn more about Shelley and how we are going to be honoring her, of course, you have to attend the Americana Awards on March 16th. And here's a short video with Shelley. Looks like we're not having sound. I'll go back and then we'll go forward again. There we go.
Hi, my name is Shelley Appling. I am the recipient for Citizen of the Year for Los Alamitos, the Americana Awards. And join us Saturday, March 16th for our celebration.
So now you heard it from Shelley. You all have to be there. How could you say no to her? We have an incredible opportunity drawing. For those of you who have participated before, you know that is another way that we help to raise money to support all of our efforts. We hope you participate in that in addition to participating in the event. And the event starts at 5:30. It looks like it got a little jumbled there on the screen. I don't know what happened with that, but on March 16th at the Westin Anaheim Resort, we hope that the city of Los Alamitos will help support us again by sponsoring the table, possibly coming as individuals. You always help us out with a great auction basket, and we provide the city with 2 pages of ads to provide information about the city, promote upcoming events and activities, so that we always make sure that we promote the cities that are supporting us. I'd like to invite Shelley to come forward, and I know she always says, oh, you're making me come up to the podium. She's not someone that likes to speak in front of folks, but I'd like Shelley to come up and let's give her a warm welcome and congratulate her.
Thank you, Howard. I'm honored. It's very cool. I brought my posse here. Not a speaker, so thank you.
Thank you so much, and for the opportunity to participate and support us. And would it be okay if we took a quick picture with Shelley? I don't know if it's okay with the mayor if we just took a quick picture to honor her, so she has a picture with the city council? Yeah? Okay.
Looks like Chief Claiborne's already taken over. We are honored here to be involved in a promotion and a oath of service. So it's all yours, Chief.
Thank you, sir. All right, thank you all for coming this evening. We have an honor tonight of being able to participate in the promotion of an officer to a frontline leader within the organization. So I'm going to go ahead and have Corporal Kevin Steinhauser come up and join me, please. All righty, let's see. So Corporal Steinhauser was born in Long Beach and graduated from Woodrow Wilson High School. He completed public safety dispatcher training at Golden West College and the Basic Police Academy at Fullerton Community College. After the academy, Kevin became a public safety officer and dispatcher for the Long Beach Memorial Medical Center before becoming a school safety officer for the Long Beach Unified School District. Corporal Steinhauser began his career at the Los Alamitos Police Department in January of 2019. Since then, he has held the positions of patrol officer, school resource officer, and field training officer. Tonight, he will be able to add the leadership position of police corporal to that list. Fun fact about Kevin, his badge number is actually 211, and his promotion date was in fact 2/11, February 11th. So let's see, Kevin and his wife Brittany have 2 children, and he enjoys spending time with family and friends, camping, and just having fun around the house. Please join me in welcoming the newest leader to our organization, Corporal Kevin Steinhauser. And his badge will be pinned on by his wife Brittany. All right, you can go ahead and have a seat, and we'll do a photo after. All right, Kevin, go ahead and face me. Raise your right hand. I state your name.
Kevin Steinhauser.
Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California. That I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter. Congratulations.
I just want to say thank you for the opportunity, and thank you to the chief, the department, family, friends that are here supporting, and I look forward to this.
Okay, go ahead and sign your oath of office. Come up for our photos.
Okay, let's go. We'll move forward to oral communications. At this time, any individual in the audience may come forward to speak on any item within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. Remarks are to be limited to not more than 5 minutes per speaker. I do have one card here that's pre-printed. Mr. Dan Gallagher.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council, staff. My name is Dan Gallagher. Most of you know me, but I'm here tonight to introduce myself as the newly elected president of the Los Alamitos Seniors Club. I'll get it right. Thank you. Thank you. We would like to thank all of you for your efforts in getting the American Legion Hall for senior bingo, without which seniors would, without the bingos, the senior bingo would have died, no doubt about it. Many other senior programs also benefit from attaining the American Legion Hall. The hall is working very well with a few workarounds. We'd also like to thank Director of Park and Rec, Emmeline Noda, and her staff for the great work they do with the bingo, dine, and dough. Lots and lots of running across from here to across the street and back and forth, and they always are pleasant with the seniors. Always have a smile. It's unbelievable. Councilman Doby, we'd really like to thank you for the work that you have done on the senior transportation. I would like to invite you all and to come over if you have any time, if you have any projects you would like to talk to the seniors about. They would really, they're starving for information about the city. Our bingo day is on Thursday at 9 a.m. and sales of the bingos cards stop at 10:30. We break for lunch and then we have a short meeting. While I'm on TV, I would like to thank my bride of 58 years for all the hard work she does for the seniors, for the senior club, and for Parks and Rec. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gallagher. Are there any other speakers? I have a question for you, Mr. Gallagher. Is that every Thursday?
Every Thursday.
Okay, perfect. Okay, next we will move on to updates from the mayor. First, I'd like to thank the Orange County Fire Authority for providing the city with sand during the latest storm. The city purchased and placed sand at Little Cottonwood Park for residents. The purchased sand was quickly used up, and the Fire Authority replenished it, so thank you. Our last workshop to gain input on the neighborhood permit parking and street sweeping survey is next Wednesday, February 28th at the Planning Commission. Residents are encouraged to attend for their voices to be heard. Weekend of Art. Please join us for the 9th Annual Weekend of Art. This year, the event is located at Oak Middle School Multipurpose Room. The exhibition will be open to the public on Saturday, March 16th from 12 to 6 p.m. and Sunday, March 17th from 3 to 7 p.m. The awards ceremony will take place on Sunday, March 17th at 6:30 p.m. The event will include an art exhibition for all ages, children's arts activities, arts and crafts, booths, live performances, and an awards ceremony. Art applications are available on the city's website at www.cityoflosalamitos.org. So hopefully you all have been getting your art together, I hope. The Spring Carnival, Memorial Care Miller Children's and Women's Hospital, Long Beach. Spring Carnival presented by Cal Optima Health is scheduled for Saturday, March 30th at Little Cottonwood Park. This popular and free event will run from 9:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. There will be many activities to enjoy, including egg hunts in various age groups, a photo area and with Peter Rabbit, carnival games, vendor booths, inflatables, face painters, balloon twisters, and live music. I've probably attended, the last 6 or 7 of these, and they are great events, so I encourage everybody to attend. Register for the race on the base. Register now for the Universal Waste Systems Race on the Base, the ever popular reverse sprint triathlon and 5K run walk will occur on Saturday, April 13th at Los Alamitos Joint Forces Training Base. Registration is now open at www.raceonthebaselosal.com. I again encourage all you runners and triathletes to join, and even the run walk. Hopefully, I can get my daughter out to do it with me as well, and should be a lot of fun. I know this is something that's been, we had it, it disappeared, and now it's back, so we want to make the most of it, and it should be a great event. And at this time, we'll get updates from the city staff. Is there anything to announce?
Just one acknowledgement, actually, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to call some attention to the work that the Public Works Department has been doing. Obviously, we all know that we've been experiencing a lot of rain, and that volume obviously can be troublesome for many cities. As you can see, that there's been some cities that have actually had to close City Hall, others that have had major flooding incidents. And our Public Works team has, I'm sure you've seen them all driving around, actually clearing storm drains and such. And so we haven't actually experienced any major flooding. I also want to thank the council for reporting, the small maintenance issues that have come up, either storm drains that have been blocked or potholes that have actually resulted because of the storm. You guys typically are our best eyes and ears out there in the community. So thank you to you and also to the Public Works group. That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Hey, thank you. I second that. I think we have more in store, unfortunately, but keep up the good work. Now it's time for the warrants. Per our accelerated warrant policy, we actually got the warrants out a week early, and at least to date, there hasn't been any questions. And if there are any questions at this time, I would just ask that those would be noted and addressed by staff in the future.
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment.
Go ahead.
Back in October last year, I had requested, in regards to the vendor MV Chang Associates, that there be a brief description provided. And then I noticed now there is no description at all. So I just want to have that comment so that going forward, there could be some type of description placed on that.
Sorry, NV?
MV?
MV.
Yeah, like Mona Victor Chang Associates.
City manager, I believe that's the MVP Promotions that does uniforms and things like that, sports attire.
Okay. Okay, at this time for the warrants, can I get a motion?
I'll move it. I'll second.
Okay, and if I can get a roll call vote?
Mayor Nofunda,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Hasselbrink,
Aye.
Councilmember Doby,
Aye.
Councilmember Hibbert,
No.
Councilmember Murphy.
Yes.
Okay, we'll move on to the consent calendar. All the consent calendar items can be acted upon by one motion unless a council member requests separate action on a specific item. So at any point, does anybody want me to pull any of the items?
Yeah, I'd like to pull 11 D as in Delta, please.
And I'd like to pull E just for a comment.
I'd like J and B.
J and B. Okay, so then can I get a motion for the balance of the items?
I'll move it.
Mayor, if I can just make a comment about mine. There
Okay,
would be no action. You can throw it in the rest of them.
sure. Is that E?
Yes.
Okay.
So I know the chief would love to see this on consent calendar and not toot his own horn, so I'm going to toot it for him. This is about the Bearcat. The Bearcat is a SWAT vehicle. I know you've all seen them, especially from TV and everything. In our region, which includes Los Al, Seal Beach, Cypress, Westminster, and Fountain Valley, we currently have one Bearcat. It's housed over in the city of Westminster. So you can imagine logistically wise, if we have an active shooter here at Los Al High School or Cypress High School, they're probably going to be the last ones to get there. The chief, without asking or anything, he went and saw the problem, but then also found the solution before he presented it. So he was able to get a grant for this that will pay for a $380,000 vehicle. It's going to pay $375,000 of it on a grant. So for you shopping aficionados, that is 98.6 off the retail price. So with that, that's going to really settle our region area here, where we'll be able to take care of ourselves, still help Fountain Valley and Westminster, and vice versa. I just think it's a cool resource to have, and the fact that it's going to be housed right here is even more amazing. So I want to thank you for finding the problem, solving the problem, and then letting us know how you did it. So thank you.
I appreciate that, but if I could also give some recognition to Captain Gallagher, who's been working diligently on this bidding process to get it pushed through. We couldn't do it without him.
Okay. And that was it for that one.
Thank you for that. Okay, so for clarification, I'm pulling B, D, and J. So that's Bravo, Delta, Juliet. Can I get a motion on the balance?
Move it.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, if we can get a staff report on item 11B.
I'm going to turn this over to Madam Clerk.
Good evening. This is our annual update of the records management policy. It is a policy that's been in place since 2015. We do bring it back annually after staff has had our records management day to ensure that it's up to date and meets all of our legal requirements. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Is it, I noticed in here, we're repealing the records management policy that we voted on last year.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference?
So we do update the policy every year. So by repealing it, it's just, this will be our most up-to-date policy. So that's what that reference to. Let me pull.
And reverting back to the 2015 version?
No, we're doing the new version that was included in your staff report, and it is, there was only minor revisions. Sorry, one moment while I'm trying to get it pulled up right now. I apologize. It was just minor revisions to, mostly it was vernacular to match what the department uses, so it's easier for them to reference and find the records that they're looking for. And we did update the retention period for our CIPs to match the Secretary of State's guidelines, which went from 4 years of termination to 10 years of termination. And then the rest were like clerical errors, spelling, typos, that type of stuff.
So everything is within compliance for state law?
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay, now if I can, we had questions on 11D, like Delta.
Hi, good evening. This question is in regards to page 69. I noticed for the investment Wells Fargo Bank NA that the certificate of deposit states that the purchase date is in the future, 11/7/26. So I just want to confirm if that should be corrected.
It's a typo. It's a switch between the maturity and purchase date.
Okay. And who is the investment manager usually for the investment portfolio?
Investment manager?
Yeah, who usually manages to figure out which investments we should proceed with as a city to invest?
The city treasurer does. Myself.
And is it you solely
Yes.
who makes that decision? Okay.
Whenever I make a purchase, I always copy the city manager on those purchases as well.
Okay. I noticed on some of the investments that are amortized cost, which I understand is a full cost of the investment upon maturity. There's been a loss propensity for loss up until the maturity date. So is there going to be an alternative strategy that's going to be looked upon at the expiration of maturity date of some of these investments?
I'm not clear with your question, council member.
So I noticed on, say for instance, Treasury obligation, U.S. Treasury note for 11/15/24 is the maturity date. The purchase cost, which I want to say I appreciate, I know back in October I had requested for you to include the purchase cost on the column, and you did, so I just want to say thank you ahead of time. I noticed that the purchase cost was $498, and the amortized cost, which is the full cost of the investment upon maturity, is $500,000, but the market value is significantly less at $482. So I wanted to confirm if you, as the investment manager, is going to be looking at alternative strategies to change or amend different investments that don't seem to be proceeding in a more positive value.
Yes, I'm always looking at opportunities and within the portfolio itself. This particular one was purchased at a discount, so that's why the purchase cost is less than the full amortized cost. The market cost is driven by whatever events occur in the market, and so we're hoping to gain full cost when that maturity actually matures.
Okay, so there's going to be, I assume, that you can go ahead and place that in the column since you said it was purchased at a discount rate. So going forward, that could be referenced in your investment portfolio columns.
Well, you can see that the cost for purchase was less than the amortized, so I don't know if you really need to state that out.
Well, considering that you did state that, that seems like it's very impactful when the market value reflects it's 482, but the purchase cost was higher, and then the amortized is even higher than that. So the fact that you had stated that it was purchased at a discount, it leads me to believe that that's factoring in the decision that it's not that reduced. Because, I mean, 498 to 482 is over, is a loss.
Right. So, for example, this one, the full par value of that investment is $500,000. It happened to be purchased at a discount to take advantage of the market at the time. The market value is based on whatever occurs in the market, so that could change numerous times before that maturity actually comes to maturity.
And have you looked at the trends for bonds to see if there is going to be a positive outcome in the maturity date of this year?
Which ones?
For what we were just discussing, the U.S. Treasury notes, have you looked at the bonds and the notes to see the propensity of the trend over this year, since this is set to mature in November?
Yes, I'm always looking forward for all of these.
Okay, because I can't see in regards to like even the Federal Home Loan Bank that there's going to be a significant difference in positivity, that it reduced from what, 498 and the market value is 491. So I just want to make sure that there's considerations that you're looking at alternative strategies 60 days ahead of time so that there won't be a continued loss in regards to the amortized cost and the market value, which is what could be sold within, what, less than 2 months.
Right. So the object of these is to let these investments go to maturity. There's really no advantage to breaking it before that because you're going to lose on the potential interest that you could have gained.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about it. That's why I stated maturity date. I'm quite familiar with this. I mean, I worked in asset management for over 20 years. So I just want to see that you are looking at alternative strategies, I mean, because it's less than 60 days to the maturity date of April 29th. And like I said, according to the market value as of today, or I'm sorry, December, it was 491. So I just want to make sure that we're continuously looking at other alternative investment strategies that could be utilized so there won't be a loss.
Yes, I'm looking at all the investment opportunities within the city's current investment policy.
Okay.
I have a quick question for you. Can you tell me how you're doing market-wise to date as a whole?
For the interest? Sure. So I think the budget, we had forecasted around 300,000, and as of December 31, that is actually doubled that. So taking advantage of the good market rates and the interest that these tools are paying off. And so probably projecting double or triple that budget amount by the end of the fiscal year.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then just so I can get clarification too, and I'll use a specific example. The maturity date of that U.S. Treasury note that was referenced is 11/15/24, correct?
Correct.
And the value at maturity is 500,000, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Full par back comes back to the city.
Correct. So there's no actual loss regardless of what the market value is?
It's just whatever the market, and that could change from day to day.
Correct. Okay.
From my understanding, the amortized cost that's listed is actually the full cost of the investment upon maturity, which includes fees that would be paid by the investor. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
All right, the last item was 11J. Okay, I'm there.
I'm sorry, Council, was there a specific question about this, or would you like a staff report?
I forgot who pulled it.
I pulled it. I was wondering the timing on this. Why is this coming up now?
It's actually a very fair question. To tell you the truth, when we were looking at different items that we had kind of I'll call it a series of items that we needed to actually go through in terms of planning for the long-term future of the city. This was one that came up a long time ago. It actually started back in 2019, so prior to my arrival at the city. To tell you the honest truth, I thought the city was part of the trust because 26 cities are already members of the trust, and so I was actually a little confounded when I found that we actually were not a member of the trust. But also in terms of our long-term planning efforts, we had to go through the housing element, then the rezoning that was accompanied with that. Obviously, you're all familiar with the work that we did with ALEC. It just seemed that there was a natural progression that now would be a good time to actually add in becoming part of the housing trust. And so I actually want to correct myself. I believe it's 26 cities and the County of Orange that are members now.
And just for a clarification, the reason we've never been in it before is previous city managers were not interested because we weren't building homes.
And again, this is the nice thing about the Housing Trust. Again, there is a fee that goes along with it. We pay almost $7,000 in order to be a member. That being said, it does open up the ability for developers to go out and access gap funding in order to make projects better or to get projects complete. And I think to date that they've been able to secure almost, I believe it's $67 million in additional funding that they can now have access to. And that's, I think, anytime that we can use somebody else's money to accomplish something, that's been one of the mantras that we've really tried to stick with, especially with our CIP project. So this is just an extension of that kind of mentality.
Do we have an estimate on, so it costs $7,000 to join this. What sort of returns are we looking for within what period?
That will be dependent. Basically, what this does is it allows developers to have access to that money. Typically, housing projects are funded through tax credits through the state. They come on there's a cycle that you have to apply for. And I think that this gives another avenue for developers to actually go out and access money. So in terms of a true dollar, I wouldn't be able to tell you that until we had a project that was submitted and they actually had their funding request put in place. But I can say that, again, the ability to have access to $67 million worth of funding for affordable housing projects I'd rather have access to it than not have access to it.
And is that access for the developer or does the city benefit?
We benefit from the standpoint that the affordable housing projects would actually be funded and built. Also, I will say that there's always whenever you have an affordable housing project, there's always a gap that needs to be closed. And that can be because of design elements that the city is asking for. It can be because of the number of units that are being proposed. And so by having access to this gap funding, it makes sure that, or it allows us to have another avenue to ensure that projects look the way that we want them to look, that they're providing the services that we want to provide, that they might not have been able to accomplish or get going through the tax credit application with the state. And so this is just another way of making, I think, projects a little bit better.
Who gets that tax credit?
The developers. That's how they fund the affordable housing.
Okay, what I'm looking for is for $7,000 the city puts out, not that much money, but the benefits, it sounds like, are just the developer. Tell me more about how the city benefits financially. Because why pay the $7,000 if the developer's only gonna?
City manager, may I make a clarification?
Sure.
So the charge for a city our size, which is the alluded $7,000, it's actually for this fiscal year 23-24. We do not have to pay that. So the housing trust fund has received enough funding so the city does not have to pay that $7,000 for this fiscal year.
Okay.
Okay, so I just want to make that clarification.
Thank you. Yeah, what I'm trying to get to is more benefits for the city. I'm hearing a lot of benefits for developers.
So the ultimate benefit, it might not be financial, but it'll be, so we have a approved housing, a state housing RENA number, all right? And so part of that is there's a percentage that we have to meet some of our affordable housing numbers. And so this will just entice or make it easier for us to meet those goals, because when a developer comes in, they know that they have some assistance for that gap funding here in Los Alamitos.
And I would stress the idea that this is, the vast majority of funding for affordable housing is always going to be coming from the state. That is the main revenue source in order to produce these mandates, because again, they do come from the state. The value to the city, I don't think that it is a financial value to the city per se, but it more in terms of what exactly the end product looks like at the end of the day. So you may have a project that wasn't going to have I'll call it window treatments or have mature landscaping and those kind of things, whereas this funding can actually help a developer get to those types of additions that the city would want to see as part of a development. So if it's anything, I would look at it as kind of a nice insurance policy to try to see projects get to be a little bit nicer than what they might have been without it.
Do we have any applications that this affects?
I don't know anyone that would be that has applied for it, but I would imagine that at some point the Lamson project, when it is fully submitted and vetted, would probably try to take advantage of it, as would any other development that was going to have affordable housing.
Thank you.
Okay, we have to do these one by one, so can I get a motion for 11B?
I'll move it.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 11D,
I'll move it.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then 11J,
I'll move it.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm opposed.
I'm an abstain.
We are now on item 12. We have a public hearing, and this is an appeal of the Planning Commission denial of site development permit SDP 23-01, 4-unit multiple family residential project developmental services. Consideration of an appeal from the Planning Commission denial of site development to construct a 3,490 square foot, 3-story, 4-unit building on a vacant parcel at 10912 Walnut Street. And the applicant is Siraj Abul Hassan. I don't know if that's correct or not. Apologize if I messed that up. So at this point in time, I'm going to open it up to the public, if there's any public comment or testimony. Okay.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, council members. My name is Siraj Abul Hassan. You nailed it. You got 100% right.
Oh, thank you.
And the reason I'm standing before you today is to represent this project that we didn't get the planning approval on it, because previously when we submitted the plans, one of the units was not meeting all the codes, which is the minimum requirement for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 800 square foot. And the architect failed to represent that on the cover sheet. Now I went back and revised it. We got rid of the architect, and I worked very closely with Mr. Tom Oliver to make sure we're complying with all the codes. And this particular lot has been vacant for a very long time. We have acquired this lot on May 30th, and since then we have been just clearing all the weed that would grow up in that place and then trying to maintain it. We've been eager to get started on this development for a very long time, and this will provide equal, if not better, than the neighboring properties as static, as parking spots that will all be in that lot. from guest parking to garages, and also the static of it. It's gonna have a very nice finish from the roof. It's gonna have very nice concrete tile. It's gonna have very nice stucco trims around the window, a little bit of patio for the tenants to utilize, and it will also have very nice landscaping. We also have read all the requirements, all the conditions of the approval. There are 57 of them. Some are pertaining for the environmental effect of the project. We developed a WQMP report and submitted it to the city, and we also worked on covering anything that might be visible for the anybody who is driving on Walnut Street. We're gonna have screens in front of any mechanical equipment. We're gonna have a much better look for the Walnut Street. We're gonna provide improvement from the front. We're gonna provide a walkway. We're gonna provide access to the property from the back, from the alley. And I hope you can help us on getting this to the final point, pull permits, and get started on this project. We have worked in various cities. I did myself personally worked in Long Beach. I worked in Paramount. I worked on the Long Beach Civic Center project, $300 million project. So I have no fear of managing this project as an engineer, as a contractor, to make sure it runs smoothly with the city, it runs smoothly with the public works, get their blessing on it, and also we will not be doing anything to protrude to the neighborhood from dust control, noise pollution. It will be within the limits. We will be working within reasonable hours. We'll have all the access on the back, so we'll not have any problem or effect on the transportation or the main street. We will coordinate closely with the city to see this project to the end. If you have any questions about this project in particular, I would love to answer it, and I want to thank you for your time and taking this one step further and hoping to get it approved.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think before we take any more public comment, can I get a staff report just for the record?
Of course, I'll ask Director Noda to provide a staff report on this project.
All right, thank you. Good evening again, Mayor, members of the City Council. So Mr. Abulson covered a lot, but I'm just going to kind of reiterate that his project is, again, at the address is 10912 Walnut Street. It is a vacant lot, like he said, and he plans on having a 3-story, 4-unit building constructed on the site. So each of the unit, I believe, is a 2-bedroom and a 1 or 2 bath unit. And again, so the first floor will just be a garage. The second floor is 2 of the units, and the third floor is an additional 2 units. Okay. Like Mr. Abulson said, he went through the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission denied. They are the body to review this type of item. They denied it based on some. He basically didn't check some of the boxes according to our municipal code. He went back again, I believe, a second time, and some of those boxes still weren't checked. And so we're here now. Basically, he came up to the City Council, which he can as an appeal, because the hearing shall be de novo. That's a new phrase that I learned. So that means that you're basically looking at it as a third party, right? As a new set of fresh eyes, right? But the City Council may approve with the conditions or disapprove the matter, or they also may. You're not required to, but you may return this again to the matter of the Planning Commission. So again, those are the council's 3 options that they have. I will tell you right now that the current plans that were embedded in this packet, he does meet all the standards of the staff. He checks all the boxes, and that's why we are recommending for council to proceed with the approval of this plan. And so then he could proceed with his construction. That's the end of the report. I'm here to answer any questions. So is our associate planner, Tom Oliver, as well.
Okay. Before I ask if the council has any questions, is there any further public comment? Nope. Okay. Any questions from council?
Yeah, I do have a question. After you addressed the concerns that were initially informed to you by the Planning Commission, what, was it denied a second time? Or was it just the initial time and then the concerns were addressed after that?
So the first time he went there was the first the first project, and he didn't check all the boxes, so he was denied. So he went back and made revisions, and unfortunately, all the boxes weren't checked, so he was denied a second time. So that's why we're here for a third time. The applicant chose to come to the city council level, again, for the de novo effect, but right now, all the plans and everything meets our code.
Between the second and third, city stepped in and reviewed everything and stated now
Correct.
everything is, okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Mayor, if I could just provide perhaps semantics, but a little bit of clarification. The applicant did have a public hearing before the Planning Commission, which initially was continued, not denied, but continued to allow the applicant to make revisions to the plan. The applicant made some revisions, came back to the Planning Commission, and the Planning Commission ultimately was not able to develop consensus on approving the item as was recommended by staff. So we had 2 in favor, 2 opposed, and 2 absent. So because the motion didn't carry, that was technically a denial, which put the applicant in a position to appeal tonight. But I did just want to clarify that the first run through the Planning Commission wasn't technically a denial. It was consideration and then continuance to come back.
Thank you.
Any other questions from council?
Ron, you had mentioned that a couple of the boxes weren't checked at, let's say, application number 2. What specifically were those boxes that were identified that are now being fulfilled?
I believe there was a miscalculation of the square footage of the project site. So basically the math didn't add up, and I believe the second one was some setback issues. Is that correct? So some setback issues.
Were those clerical errors or were there miscalculations in measurement?
Well, I hope I can well, there's miscalculation in
Like a typo, or was the
no, there's just
measurements?
some miscalculations. Correct.
And those are corrected now?
They're corrected now. Correct.
Is that okay? Anything else? Okay, since we have a few options here, the first thing I'm going to ask for is if someone would make a motion to approve the project.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
And if I can get a roll call?
Mayor Nafolda,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Hasselbrink,
Aye.
Councilmember Doby,
Aye.
Councilmember Hibbard,
Aye.
Councilmember Murphy.
Aye.
Congratulations.
Okay.
Welcome to Los Alamitos.
Yes.
Stay out of LA County.
Okay, we can go on to item number 13, the Senior Services Master Plan update. If I can get a staff report.
I can turn this over to Director Noda to give you an update as to where exactly we're going. The action for the council tonight is to appoint a member to the advisory committee, but with that, Director Noda.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, and members of the City Council. Tonight, I just wanted to provide an update on where we are with our Senior Services Master Plan, as we are all very excited about launching the plan for 2024. So at the October 23rd City Council meeting, you all voted unanimously to move forward on this plan, including allocating up to $70,000 to contract with a consultant to help us develop it. The staff has identified Gerofusion, who is also associated with Doctors of Gerontology with Cal State Fullerton. And we have come up with a timeline that I'd like to inform you about. From January through March, we are identifying key questions and focus groups. April through May, developing the measures, as well as the methods of the survey. And then May through July, which is our heavy event times of the year, where we gather the most groups. We will be doing data collection and also doing focus groups. Preliminary findings late October through early November, with the goal of the master plan to be completed by December of 2024. This plan involves the entire City of Los Alamitos team, and I'd like to recognize that this is a great opportunity for us to work together to develop this plan and also execute it and see it through to fruition. Some examples working with our police department along with OCFA, is identifying guidance on the safety of seniors in our residents and identifying seniors living in isolation, which is a huge concern. We want to make sure that they are well connected and that they get the resources they need. Our finance department in identifying additional funding sources for future programs or infrastructure, assisting with contracts and vendors. Our development services department identifying infrastructure opportunities, capital improvement projects, including maintenance of existing and future facilities to support expanded senior services and programs. As I've told you before, we are bursting at the seams at our community center, so this will be a definite need. Our human resources division to assist us with the recruitment and hiring of qualified staff to work directly with the senior population and senior programming. As President Gallagher stated, we have a deep fondness for our senior population, and we only hire those that are of the same like mind. Our city clerk and director of communications, assisting with communication and outreach efforts of the Senior Services Master Plan to obtain the community feedback and outreach and executed future programming to help spread the word about all the great things that we have planned. So we are, again, very excited. The City Council individually will be able to participate in the Senior Services Master Plan through the individual surveys that will be going out to the community. And such as City Manager Simmons said, we are requesting a representative to represent City Council on our Senior Advisory Advocate Committee, which is really just for 2024 to help guide us through this process, as we want to make sure that we leave no stone unturned and that we think of everything and make this a very comprehensive approach for our seniors. And with that, I'd like to turn it back over to you, Mayor.
Thank you, Director Noda. Any questions from council?
I'm just so excited.
So I guess at this time, we're being asked to appoint a representative from the council. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Before we decide on that or vote on that, I just wanted to piggyback on something you had said. You used the phrase seniors living in isolation, and I'm not sure if it's my district, my area, my neighbors, or what, but that seems to be a big thing. I recently had a couple of conversations, one with a lady, another with a gentleman who had been married longer than I've been alive, recently widowed, and they're really struggling with that. You know, for the first time, they're at home by themselves, and I go for a jog in the morning, and they flag me down, and we just talk in the street, and it's a real thing. And I know that, you know, we're government, and we can't address all of the issues, but when you use that phrase, seniors living in isolation, that to me has really hit home just recently in my neighborhood. So thank you for being mindful, you know, of that. A lot of times senior programs, it's maybe more activities, more external, not so much how are you feeling, maybe lacking the care that they can benefit from. So thank you for keeping that in mind, because in my neighbors, just recently, they are living in isolation, really struggling with that.
Thank you, Councilmember. And that really has to do a lot with senior transportation, which we're also working on a comprehensive plan as well to incorporate that so we can get our seniors to our facilities, and also really to get the word out, because a lot of times, you know, we try several ways, but the seniors in isolation we identify through our police department and OCFA. That's how we would be able to do so.
Anything else? Okay, so I'm kind of sandwiched in between. I know two people that really.
So one of us has a deep passion for the seniors,
And one
of us is
a senior.
So I will defer to the one that is, because I can still give my input. It ain't gonna stop me. So do I officially make a motion to?
I think I'm a senior as well, according to LoSal.
I'm not a senior, I'm a millennial. I was born in the 80s, for the record.
So if that was a motion for Mayor Pro Tem Hasselbrink, I'll second that.
This is a senior moment.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Now we have the council announcements. I'm going to be quick here. I'm going to start here, and we're just going to go to the right and circle back around here. Since the last meeting, I attended the Mayor's and City Council Academy, and it was in Monterey, California, which was nice. But it was very informative. I wish it was something I had done before. If any of you are interested, I kept the materials with my notes. So if you want me to email something on one of the topics or something like that, it was very informative. And Director Noda was there also. So if you have any questions, I'm sure you can direct it towards her. I also attended my OC San admin and the regular board meetings. It's interesting. They're always promoting, education about what they do, because I think it's something that none of us really want to think about. But they are offering a wastewater 101 course. It's open to the public, and if you want information on there or to sign up, you can either email me or on the OC San website. But it's an actual 3 to 4 week course that you go once a week and you take a tour, you learn about how the wastewater is disposed of. And then in the April board meeting, they actually going to have a little graduation, so you can get your certificate. So if that's something that you're interested in, that's up to you. But that's all I have, and I'll go over to Mayor Pro Tem Hasselbrink.
Thank you. So we had our first OCFA board meeting for the new year. We elected John O'Neill from Garden Grove as our chair, and I just lost his name, from San Juan Capistrano, as our vice chair. I'll remember his name, sorry. I still remain on the Executive Committee, Budget and Finance Committee, and the CIP working group. We're starting to work on our mid-year budget adjustments as they deem necessary. The property tax seems to be doing well, since that's 60% of our funding. We're always looking at that. And they projected out, obviously, with all the new housing increases and everything, the property taxes will be going up in the next few years. I also attended the LAIF Gala honoring Randy and Diana Hill. I've known them for years and years and years. These people have been involved just about everything. One of the reasons I got involved with a lot of these things is because of them. From LAYB, they were some of the founding members for LAIF. They're very much involved with the La Salle High School Football Foundation, St. Isidore's. Diana's the executive director for Pathways to Independence, which takes high school graduate girls at risk and pays for their college, gives them housing, and teaches them life skills, which is just a tremendous program. And all of this was happening before Diana ever even got on the school board, so kind of the elected thing was kind of an afterthought. It was a great celebration, and they just did a really good job, and LAIF continues to grow, offering more learning academies during the summer and during the school year, as far as foreign languages and just various things. They really adapt into the times. They have some coding classes now and different things like that. So that was a great night, and that's all I've got.
Thank you. Councilmember Murphy.
Hi, good evening. So I understand as of January 1st, 2024, in regards to SB 1383, which is just requiring jurisdiction to provide organic waste collection, that there's been several updates that have occurred as of January 1st of this year. So I'm asking that I move to have the city conduct a workshop or a presentation during the city council, since there hasn't been a workshop since February 15th, 2022. And there's a lot of new updates that have occurred in regards to like businesses in Tier 2 and the way they dispose of their food waste and disposal of mulch and organics, and just reviewing the waste characterization. So I'm just moving that we have, again, a presentation or some type of updated workshop, since 2024 has created a lot of new updates that we should adhere by as a jurisdiction in the city of Los Alamitos.
Is that something that like an official motion, or?
If it's necessary, or if our city manager, Mr. Simmons, can just put that on future agenda, I'd appreciate that.
So typically, yes, to add an item to the agenda, it would have to be seconded by another council member. I'm sorry, I'm reading the code right now.
Yes.
And in the interest of ensuring that we stick to the code, I would just ask that formal actions taken. That's all.
Great.
Okay, and this is just informative about the...
Correct, about SB 1383 and the new enactments that came into effect this year, January 2024, in regards to businesses in Tier 2, as well as residents just getting knowledge about what receptacles should be used for their organic materials and paper and such.
I'll second that motion.
And I'm more than happy to do it simply because I know the staff is actually way ahead of the curve on this one. We actually have had a lot of outreach to the various businesses about what exactly is required of them. So bringing some of those materials in to share with the council, if you haven't received them already, I think it's a good thing.
Does it make sense to have Michael DeValier here?
I would like to discuss it with, I think that actually will be probably a good idea. I'll like to discuss it with Director Noda and see what exactly the different information points that he would like to bring up will be.
Okay. And then going forward, I attended the ACCOC policy dinner, and we discussed governing in the era of artificial intelligence. Really interesting stuff. I also attended the Commissioner's Appreciation Dinner, where there was just an amazing performance by elite dancers from the Premier Dance Arts of Los Alamitos off of Catella, so if you want to check them out. Just to tell the commissioners and directors of our foundation and our different commissions how much we value their support and contributions as volunteers for our city. I was also graciously invited to the Harvest of Happiness celebration at the Nixon Library in the city of Yorba Linda, which showcased the Asian community's culture, arts, and rich traditions. Traditions. It was just truly amazing. Between martial arts, singing, musical instruments, it was just spectacular. I also had the opportunity to attend the State of the City breakfast event for Stanton. I've been in Stanton quite frequently with the Rodeo 39, which has 2nd Street, which is thrift store, as well as a number of just great restaurants. Also, I just want to say thank you for everyone over their hard work over the last year. I just completed my first year as a city council member, and I just want to say I've learned a lot just working collaboratively with staff members as well as law enforcement and such. So I just want to say thank you. I have noticed there's been significant improvements with my work and position as a council member, as well as the work with staff members in different avenues. However, in regards to the warrants, I have noticed that every month there has been an error that I have located, or several errors. So going forward, if I do find any errors, and I understand that we have enacted the accelerated warrant reports, which has been great for City Council to review the warrants. Of course, it doesn't provide a lot of transparency for the public in regards to any issues or concerns that may need to be addressed. So if there is any other errors that I find, and I've requested invoices and statements, as well as financial reports that have been withheld or not provided to me, I will no longer approve any warrants going forward. And that's it.
Councilmember Hibbert?
Thank you. 2024 is off to a stellar start. My year has mostly been making house calls from neighbors calling me on my cell phone. A lot of kitchen table talks, talking about anything and everything, like we were talking about seniors. So for those of you that are watching at home, you know who you are. You're watching on cable. And I told you, quit your cable, cancel, save your money, go digital. But for those that are watching on cable, call me, 562-444-6751. I will come over. I will help you with anything you need. Some of my neighbors have taken this very seriously, and I've been out with a push broom clearing drains in the Highlands. And again, you know who you are, calling me to clear your drains. I will do that happily. So there's a lot of needs in this community, and that's my favorite part of being on council, is just talking with neighbors, talking with residents. Not so much, you know, up here it's so cold, it's so informal, it's so impersonal, but just being around the neighborhood, meeting with neighbors, talking about anything they need. I had a couple phone calls. A neighbor was trying to get a wheel for a trash can and could not get the wheel for the trash can. And that's something simple and something very practical. And that's the kind of stuff that I like on council, is just the real stuff where neighbors can call me and I can help them clear a drain or get a wheel for their trash can. We've talked about race on the base. I have registered, and I'm trying to get our city manager, our city attorney, and maybe chief over there to register. A little pressure. Dan and Janet, also, I would like to recruit you guys as well. I think the seniors can walk a 5K. It's only 3 miles. You guys can do it. You can do it. You can do it. I'm coming for you. Okay. I'm coming to your group. I'm going to try to recruit. Okay. Well, maybe there's some newbies, some 50. How old's a senior? 50, 55? Okay. Maybe I'll try. I'll work with them first, but we're going to do that. Okay. So yeah, I just want to get out there. Like I said, for those of you that are watching online, I have a lot of neighbors that refuse to come to a meeting, but my heart is really to hear you, to serve you. My heart is to serve my neighbors. So seriously, call me, 562-444-6751. That's my cell phone. It doesn't go to the city. It comes to me. So thank you.
Thank you. And Councilmember Doby.
All right. So, I went to my mosquito and vectors committee meeting, and I would just like to say that we actually started doing it last year, but we will make a public announcement. Any updates, monthly we get updates on what's happening within our city regarding mosquitoes and vectors, and they are posted on our site. So if you want information about where our city stands on our vectors, it is on our city's website. I went to I'm on a Cal Cities Policy Committee. It's specifically regarding housing. The Library Advisory Committee. And again, they have updated information. I actually asked for a report so that we could get that posted on our website. They're building a brand new library it's in Rossmore, but it's LaSalle and Rossmore. It's looking to be done late spring, early summer, but there was an update submitted that actually has pictures. So you could check that out on our site as well. So I went on my other housing committee meeting through SCAG. I also attended the Leif Royal Gala honoring the amazing Randy and Diana Hill. There are some people that are in your community, like the Gallaghers, right? That's my idea of a power couple. Like somebody that really just is a part of the community. They're not, if you catch a picture of them, fine. If Emmeline is there with her camera, fine. But they just want to do the work. And they don't necessarily want to be in the forefront because they have shovels. They got the T-shirts. They have whatever it is to actually do the work. So it's always nice. So listen, you need to know, I don't just say words. It's unnecessary. So if I take the time to say it, I mean it, okay? As a side note, I also went to the Commissioner Appreciation Dinner, and it was so great because our newest commissioners were there too. So people, I think most of them had been to at least one meeting. There might have been one that hadn't even been to a meeting yet, and they were just so excited to be there. So I love that because it's not like the super fancy deal, but you can feel the appreciation in the room, like everybody takes time to stop by and look someone in the eyes and say, you're appreciated, thank you for what you do, because I can't do what I do if you don't do what you do. And regarding the rain and the potholes, I am specifically thankful for not just the pothole fixing, but the signage, because on my street specifically, it's some pretty vicious, and I drive a big truck. it's some vicious potholes. So there's signage saying, you know, potholes, one in front of Madera's, and then there's one down the street, I think it's Howard. So I appreciate that. Please let your folk know. And then, hot off the press, Los Al Rugby won the CIF championship for the second year in a row, and they are moving on to state. Now, this is a big deal because everybody talks about football, everybody talks about soccer, everybody talks about basketball, but our rugby team, they are killing it. So are they going to come back? Do you know if they're going to come back?
So just to point this out, if I can bring you up to speed, last year our sevens team ended up winning the national championship. So the high school last year on the 15s team, which is a much larger team, did not have enough students in the school to compete in a single school division. So they had to compete in a multi-school division, but they were still able to win the CIF Southern Section Championship. This year, they had 10 freshmen join the team, so they had enough to be in the single school division, and they ended up beating Torrey Pines, who was the #1 seeded team in Southern California, to win the CIF championship. Now they move on to face the #1 team in Northern California in the state championship, and that team is yet to be determined.
That just makes me so proud. And not just because I know some of the players, but they are the most humble group. They are the most humble group of young people. I love so. Can we give them certificates? It's a whole big thing. Okay. All right. I'm done. That's it.
All right, well, on that note, we will adjourn at 7:19 PM.
Perfect.